nonprofit may also help. Find out what else you can do to end homelessness at lamayor.org/Days of Compassion. I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Local leaders say it'll take several strategies to end the problem. Others in the works include opening up emergency shelters at city-owned lots and attempting to fast-track the building of supportive housing. Well, how safe are metro rail lines from a terrorist attack? A new device under consideration by the agency may be able to detect concealed weapons without burdening passengers much. Gil Reyes shows us.
No need to panic, but the men in this demonstration are packing something suspicious. We know this because of a new portable system being tested at 7th Street Metro Station in downtown.
We can literally scan dozens of people in a matter of just a few seconds to determine if there's anything that needs follow-up.
Lori Dankers from TSA introduces us to the ThruVis, 2 black boxes on wheels with cameras and monitors. They scan without you even noticing.
So someone's entering the system right now on the escalator, and they're going to come into the view of the black box, as we call it, and we are getting the avatar of him right now, and we can see that there is something in his abdomen. There's a black box in that area.
Those black blotches on both men's bellies indicate big changes in body temperature. Worst case scenario, a suicide vest or other type of explosive device, though that's not always the case. Now, any main blockage of body heat would be detected, and that includes laptops. But instead of pulling over to the side everyone with a laptop, it would be up to an officer's personal discretion, and also, more importantly, bomb-sniffing dogs to detect any main threat.
You know, people have backpacks, purses, like you said, food, that's what we're going to avoid by using the dog. That's kind of our secondary layer. So it's not just one piece of equipment we're relying on. We're relying on the piece of equipment, we're relying on the dog.
Authorities are also always on the lookout for any suspicious behavior at metro stations. Actually, all of us should be too. Other benefits to the devices: there's no radiation exposure, no intrusive x-rays of body parts. Metro passenger Robin Dew likes that it doesn't slow her down on the way to making the train.
You're just walking by, and it's not bothering you. You're not until you're bothering it.
Metro plans on purchasing this or something like it soon. In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
The fact that it's portable means being able to move the device from station to station. Metro has tested 3 similar systems since last summer and hopes to have one in place by the end of the year. Well, for some kids in underserved communities, dreams can be lost in the reality of everyday life. But thanks to the legacy of one young artist, more dreams are coming true.
I represent where I'm from to the fullest because for me, it's a place of many abandoned dreams, the good and the bad things.
Jojo Estrada was an artist, a graduate of CalArts acting program, a community-minded 23-year-old with a promising future. But above all else, he was committed to one very special goal.
Jojo is all about letting young people achieve their dreams, and no matter what background you come from, what economic level, socioeconomic level you come from, that all is possible. He taught them that. He taught the kids in the neighborhood that. He was teaching them that when he passed away.
Jojo was killed in a car accident in 2014, leaving behind his heartbroken parents and sister, but also a legacy. At a recent meeting of the LA City Council, Councilman Jose Huizar honored Jojo's family for finding beauty in tragedy.
We listened to his poem, Abandoned Dreams, and we said, that's it. That's going to be our job now.
The same year they lost their son, the Estradas created the Embrazy Foundation to honor Jojo, a young man who truly cared about his community and the often forgotten people on the fringe of society.
Since it began in 2014, the foundation has raised $50,000 for scholarships and arts programs, giving Eastside students the chance to pursue their own dreams.
Jojo just loved life, had a big smile. He always cared about the community. So his poem, Abandoned Dreams, talks about the dreams in the community being abandoned for different reasons.
It is a poem about the need to look at the world around you and truly consider the people you see and to help.
4 years later, Jojo's words still resonate, and they continue to make a difference.
That some can overcome poverty and greed's obstacles. Don't allow these dreams to go to waste because the minds of these people can never be replaced.
For more information on the Embrazy Foundation and what you can do to help, visit Embrazy.org. From city services to the latest in mobility, the Abilities Expo offered a one-stop shop for people with disabilities and their families. Living a full life can be tough for someone with a disability. From getting around the neighborhood to enjoying sports or managing finances, it's not always easy to find the help you need. But thanks to the Free Abilities Expo at the Los Angeles Convention Center, there's a one-stop shop to find it all.
It's a variety of products and services and free resources for people with disabilities so that they can find things to make things easier or better or more fun for them and their families.
The expo, now in its 40th year, also featured free workshops and topics ranging from travel to financial planning. The city's Department on Disability was also on hand to help people connect with local resources.
What we're trying to make sure is that folks know that we are available to them. We are very focused on ensuring that all city services, facilities, programs are accessible. And so we like to make sure that folks have the opportunity to let us know, one, what needs to be fixed, if anything, and really just here for the community.
There are plenty of options to help people get around, from service dogs to motorcycles to a wide selection of accessible vehicles, and even a state-of-the-art exoskeleton offering a new degree of increased mobility. The expo proved to be a hit with visitors.
Oh, I like it a lot. It's very nice. Everything's going really well. I'm enjoying myself very much.
For information on all the services the city offers, visit disability.lacity.org. Residents in downtown City West neighborhood usually have to travel blocks to get to the nearest grocery store. But not anymore. This market's so close to home, in fact, for some tenants, it's in the building. Gil Reyes reports on this new alternative for downtowners living west of the 110.
People in the City West section of downtown shop in the neighborhood's first and only full-fledged market, Grocery Outlet. It's located on the ground floor of the Sophia Los Angeles Apartments on 6th and Bixel.
I live just up the street and I wanted a local grocery store, so it's my first time here and I like it a lot.
He likes the prices too. As the sign says, a bottle of organic Ocean Spray cranapple drink is just $2 here, around $4 elsewhere.
The prices were just right. I love it.
Our shoppers in our community can expect 40 to 70% savings on brand name items.
Carlos Torres owns City West's grocery outlet. All outlets are independently owned. And while the food here is consistent, the brand names they carry often vary from week to week. So get your favorite brands while they last. Torres says buying bulk from distributors is one way he gets bargains.
We are able to extend those deals and those savings to our customers.
A new place to shop for me. I actually live in the neighborhood now. City West's Councilman Gilbert Cedillo says all 30-plus employees here at the market are also from the neighborhood. He worked with the market as well as the nonprofit Central City Neighborhood Partners to help ensure local hires.
That's huge. It's a way of getting integrated into the community. It means so much to the people who got hired.
Ask Alicia Presley. She says she applied through the city's WorkSource job centers, was interviewed at City Hall, and hired on the spot. Today she works cashier.
I like it a lot. I love introducing myself to the people. It's a great prices, so it kicks up a best conversation ever. People can't believe the prices.
I'm looking forward to it because I live nearby, and it's going to be a convenience for me.
Even closer for residents of the Sophia, who could shop here without ever really leaving home. From downtown City West neighborhood, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Parking in the area can be scarce, but there are 30 free 90-minute garage spaces available. If you've ever felt you're taking your life into your hands trying to cross some LA City streets, you're not alone. The city is taking steps to make sure your next step isn't your last. The statistics are devastating.
I think most people don't realize that we have more people who are killed from traffic fatalities than we have gang homicides. And almost as many people die from traffic fatalities as all the homicides in LA in a given year.
With pedestrian deaths surging across the city, Mayor Eric Garcetti announced a new initiative to slow motorists down and educate Angelenos about their responsibility in keeping our streets safe.
26 streets where speed limits have been adjusted up increased, 45 streets where the speed limits have been lowered, and a number, the rest, the balance, are all staying the same.
The new speed limits are the result of a citywide survey of streets where deaths and serious injuries are more likely to take place. City officials also corrected a major problem that made enforcement of existing speed limits a challenge. The state mandates that a street's speed limit must be certified on a regular basis, but many of these certifications had expired,
which made it impossible for LAPD to enforce the speed limit using radar or laser on too many of our streets.
By the end of the year, officials say most of the streets will be certified and their speed limits enforced. Councilmember Mike Bonin says the city should do everything it can to make everyone safe.
The leading cause of death in Los Angeles County of children under the age of 14 should not be traffic collisions. Our most vulnerable, pedestrians, seniors, people with disabilities, people from lower income communities, people who are undocumented should not be at such risk as they are right now.
The focus on enforcement is just part of a larger initiative called Vision Zero, which aims to eliminate traffic deaths in Los Angeles by the year 2025.
The Vision Zero Action Plan from the Department of Transportation, which talks about the rest of the E's. It talks about the steps we need to take in education, the steps we need to take in engineering to make sure that every street is safe for everyone trying to get across Los Angeles and for every kid trying to get to school.
We have a pedestrian pledge, which we have our children take. We have a driver's pledge, which we have our drivers take. And it's just that whole focus on education and then the enforcement efforts, and then embracing the new engineering aspects.
With the help of some young Angelenos, the mayor and Councilman Bonin left Angelenos with some common sense advice.
Slow down! All right.
To find out more about Vision Zero and how you can do your part as a driver or pedestrian, check out visionzero.lacity.org. Do you have the next billion-dollar invention? Well, the newly established Chatsworth Northridge Industrial Corps aims to bring some bold ideas to life with community fun and learning in mind. Gil Reyes has more from Chatsworth. Gil.
Yes, Yana, just beyond these glass doors is what LA City Council member Mitchell Englander calls the best-kept secret in the entire San Fernando Valley, a tinkerer's paradise where product dreams can come true.
Nuna Karajian, a retired teacher, is designing a product that she says could improve the solar industry. We can't show you the idea yet. For now, it's a secret.
But I think it's waiting for me to just do it.
And you're making it here?
I'm making it here.
We are at HexLab Makerspace, located in an unassuming industrial park in Chatsworth. Here, professional and amateur tinkerers make prototypes of robotic hands, wooden toys, basically anything they dare to imagine. Now, some of these creations are just for fun. Others are intended for the mass market someday. Helping to make dreams come true is a treasure trove of accessible laser cutters, 3D printers, and other cutting-edge technology at HexLab. The space was founded by Mike Hexter, a product designer with a lot of extra equipment.
So when the machines were just sitting there not being used, it killed me. So I wanted to open up the doors to the public and invite in the community to learn how to use the machines.
For $110 a month, you have access to all the machines. HexLab offers discounted memberships for seniors and teens, also classes for beginners.
So this is an example of a product that somebody designed and developed here without any prior experience. So we have a welder who came in and they wanted to learn how to use the laser cutting machines as well as electronics to control the LED lights and change all the colors. So they started with a simple 2-hour class. They did a second 2-hour class, and when they were done, they started making.
They bring in people of all ages, from school children that take field trips. You can have a membership here and come regularly.
Chatsworth's Councilman Mitchell Englander and I take a tour of HexLab. It's actually part of the much larger Toolbox LA Innovation Hub, home to several other hardware startups working together to help ensure product success.
The entrepreneurship hub of the Valley. It's meant to inspire and engage. So in the building, we have Make in LA, which is a hardware accelerator. They invest in people's products. And then upstairs, we have Toolbox LA, a huge co-working facility. There are conference rooms for businesses to use, offices, desks. They can rent them for a day or for a month. It's a great platform for businesses to be launched from. We have a 200-person event space, and over here is one of the Artists in Residence projects. This was a plain old school bus, and we stripped down all the paint, sanded it down, and an artist has come in and drawn and created a masterpiece.
This party bus was refurbished with the help of woodworking tools at Hex Lab, and inside a DJ booth. For birthday parties, corporate events, the sky's the limit.
The whole idea is not just to be a creative space, but a gathering space, to have fun, to have different types of events. It's certainly programmable, so you can make learning fun.
Councilman Englander says Toolbox LA and Hex Lab fit right into his Innov 818 master plan, reserving roughly 3 square miles of Chatsworth and Northridge as an ultra-modern industrial core.
To market this area to businesses, to bring them here, to show them what we have, and then be able to program all the other companies and the nonprofits around it and who's here, like Hex Lab, that they have this in their backyard. They can home grow a future workforce. We can protect this area in perpetuity and then just grow it from what it already is. It's a magical place.
A place where you're only limited by your imagination.
Here, if you can dream it, you can build it.
Reporting from the new Chatsworth Northridge Industrial Core, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Bring your idea to life. Find out more at hexlabmakerspace.com. A plan to house people who are homeless in shelters at El Pueblo moves forward. A new plaque commemorates the historic LA student walkouts 5 decades ago, and the Asian community marks the end of the Chinese New Year. All these stories in City Beat. The Los Angeles City Council approved Councilmember Jose Huizar's motion to provide 5 trailers for temporary shelter, restroom and showers, as well as case management space to assist those experiencing homelessness at a city-owned parking lot near El Pueblo in downtown Los Angeles.
3, 2, 1.
Community members joined Wilson High School Alumni Association to unveil a bronze plaque sponsored by Councilmember Jose Huizar and other partners to commemorate the 50th anniversary of Chicano student walkouts at El Sereno Middle School, the site of the original Wilson High School where students were the first to walk out of classes on March 1, 1968. They were protesting poor education and prejudicial policies against Mexican American students.
The school had a tier system, a tracking system in which most of the Mexican American and Chicano students were being placed in shop classes and in home economics classes instead of college preparatory classes. And so we weren't getting the education that we were entitled to, that we deserved. And so it was important for us to demonstrate that we were going to protest this, we weren't going to stand for it, we were going to do something about it.
Chinese Americans and other community members came out for the 17th annual Los Angeles Lantern Festival. The event occurs annually on the 15th day of the first lunar month to mark the closing of Chinese New Year festivities. The Lantern Festival embraces the mission of the Chinese American Museum to foster a deeper understanding and appreciation of America's diverse heritage.
And it's about learning about each other where we dispel fears and we build friendships and love. And we want to come together as a city, we want to come together as Angelenos, we want to come together as Los Angeles, because in Los Angeles we celebrate diversity.
Each year, Chinatown plays host to one of the city's most colorful celebrations, maintaining a tradition that's been going strong for 119 years. The Lunar New Year is one of the most festive holidays for the Southland's 1.5 million Asian Americans, and the heart of that celebration is right here in Chinatown. Welcome to the Golden Dragon Parade.
We have the best Los Angeles weather. Of course, it always shines brightest here in the 1st District.
This year's parade featured dragons, of course, but also celebrated the Year of the Dog, a symbol of loyalty, honesty, and friendship.
I was born on the Year of the Dog too, which is pretty cool. So it's just a lot of fun.
I love the atmosphere. I love the celebration, the confetti, and all the kids shooting off the confetti.
I like the dragon.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Past Grand Marshals of the Golden Dragon Parade have featured celebrities including Bruce Lee and David Carradine. Well, looking for a new haircut? Why not cut it all off for a good cause? Waffle Mania hits downtown LA, and check out the work of some local artists. All this in this week's Things to Do. Come out and help raise money at the annual LAFD-LAPD St. Baldrick's fundraiser to fight kids' cancer. Participants will be shaving heads in order to raise awareness and funds for childhood cancer research. The family-friendly event features a free breakfast, magicians, caricature and balloon artists, face painters, fire and police apparatus displays, a silent auction, and prizes and toys for the kids. And all of the entertainment is free. It all takes place Saturday, March 24th from 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at LAFD Fire Station 89, located at 7063 Laurel Canyon Boulevard. If you love waffles, then you won't want to miss Waffle Day, celebrated on March 25th every year, per the Swedish tradition. Organizers are bringing the fun, food, and good times to downtown LA. Enjoy beverages, live music, and all the best waffles in LA, from savory to sweet. Festival takes place on March 24th and 25th at Pershing Square. For more, visit wafflesandbeerfest.com. In the heart of Leimert Park thrives a group of community business members with a passion to develop an event rooted in the foundations of culture, art, music, and community. On the last Sunday of the month, Leimert Park Village invites the public over to enjoy a day filled with art exhibits, music, fashion, food, drumming, and other creative endeavors for the whole family. Plenty of DJ spinning, rhymers, rapping, and poets of the spoken word combined with traditional artists and the legendary drum circle. Don't miss the fun on Sunday, March 25th at Leimert Park Village. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kane from all of us here at LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.
Hey, buddy! You with the stupid hat. Come here. Closer. No parking! Do you know what happens when you park illegally on these narrow hillside streets? You block the street so emergency vehicles can't pass. Each year, homes are destroyed and lives are lost because of drivers like you who park illegally! And you know what else? You can get a citation. And you can be towed.
Help us get to the emergency. The life we save just might be yours.
How'd you know?
The ball called.
Hey, look out for the pothole.
Love you all. Car accident deaths are a possibility, a probability. What if you don't get a chance to say goodbye? What if there are no more birthday celebrations or friendly conversations because you're just not here? Put the phone down. Practice hands-free driving and give yourself and others a chance to participate in life. Obey the rules of the road.
Hola, soy Marisol, desde Canoga Park, la ciudad toda americana. Estás viendo LA City View, Canal 35, nuestra ciudad, nuestro canal.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Please take your seats. Shh. If everybody would please take their seats. Welcome to City Hall. Welcome to the Los Angeles City Council. This council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10. The public is welcome. Mr. Clerk, we do have a quorum. Would you call a roll?
Blumenfield, Bonner, Buscaino, Cedillo, Engler, Harris, Dawson, Weezer, Koretzka, Corin, Martinez, O'Farrell, Price, Rodriguez, Rue, Wesson, 13 members present, and a quorum, Mr. President.
First order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
Harris Dawson moves. O'Farrell seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Cedillo moves. Rue seconds. Continue.
Mr. President, the Department of Building and Safety recommends that item 1C be received and filed inasmuch as the lien was partially paid and the balance rescinded by the department. Further, there is a request to continue item 18 to this Friday, March 23rd.
Okay, without objection, so ordered. Continue.
Mr. President, that brings us to items 1 through 13. They're items noticed for public hearing.
Okay, on those items, do you have any cards?
Mr. President, cards on all items.
Okay, let's move on to the next section of items.
Very good, sir. Items 14 through 21 are items for which public hearings have been held. A motion is required for item 14, and item 21 should be held on the desk for an amending motion.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on those items. Let's look for a motion. Mr. Krikorian, item 14, motion is necessary.
Yes, sir. So if we can call that special for purposes of a motion to move it to Budget and Finance. I'm sorry, we're moving the Budget and Finance Committee report. So
okay, so we'll just hold that for a moment. Mr. Clerk, let's vote on the remaining items, please. Open the roll, close the rolls, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Continue.
Mr. President, items 22 through 24 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay, so without objection, those items are now before this body. Do you have cards on these items?
Yes, sir. Cards on all three.
Okay, then why don't we continue to move through the agenda?
Item 25 is an item scheduled for closed session. Would you like to hold it on the desk?
I'm going to defer to Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Thank you, Mr. President. Item 25 has been heard by the Budget and Finance Committee, which recommends approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. This is a settlement matter that can be considered in open session unless members have questions or concerns.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, why don't you read the item? Let's see if we can dispense with it.
Very good, sir. In the case entitled PP Ocean LC versus City of Los Angeles, there is a recommendation to approve the submission of this matter to binding arbitration for settlement and to authorize the city attorney to execute a settlement agreement and all other documents necessary to implement the settlement.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item then. Madam Clerk, please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Mr. President, before going back to presentations items called special, would you like to now consider item 14? We have a recommendation from Councilmember Krikorian to move the Budget and Finance Committee report.
Okay, does that need a second?
Yes, sir.
I'll second that. So let's prepare to vote on item 14. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay. Okay, why don't we'll do some of our general public comment, multi-comment. I want to start off with Mr. Previn. Mr. Previn, you have items 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 22. If you would, sergeants, if you could allow him to make his way to the podium.
Thank you, sir, and good morning. It's Eric Previn from CD2 Disclosure, running for county supervisor against our good friend Sheila Kuehl, because I feel we should have a conversation about how things are going. And I know you like having a conversation too, sir. Item number one
stay on the
is,
items.
I know, that's right. Item number one, sir, is obviously the lien item. And today it was extremely close between Rodriguez, who levied a nice, nasty lien against her constituent, but at the final analysis, sir, Marquise Harris Dawson was able to inch forward and out-lean her constituent by $12.65 for today's victory. Now, you have a lot of vacationing of the properties around town, sir, and we've noticed it on the agenda today, and it's $32,100 to get the process going over to the city, and there's multiple, so we're getting some revenue going. They do a little investigation, and then the city cuts the property loose. Now, one of the big concerns, sir, is preferential parking district 276 over in Studio City and up and around in there, because what's happening now is they're selling $35 placards to folks who live up in the hills, but the employees who work on the boulevard are about to be nailed with pernicious $75 citations, followed by a smart boot that Englander has been applying. He put, and I'm going to get these numbers right, I hope, 10,000 boots, sir, have been applied since August of 2017, and they're smart boots, so that does not make me happy. Now, item number 3 and 5 makes me a little more happy. They're lighting districts, sir. These are in my neighborhood as well, and Craig Kanizik, who's a good man from our local school and sports, is getting one of these lights put up. It's a $92 assessment to him alone, I think, so I don't know if he asked for special consideration there. And item number 6, I just want to identify Buscaino, who has done a very good job of, we're calling it marshaling outside forces to go after a constituent in his district. And I remember what this is about, sir. This is Mike Fuhr up in the city attorney's office has engaged a specialist firm that really will force a person to clean up. And, you know, it's like bringing the shock and awe kind of an approach. And they take a small piece of that. But this guy's going to clean up his area, or woman. The only problem I found was when I scanned the names of the property owners, there was nothing. You could not find. I mean, all you found was that silly stuff from like the 14th century. So I don't know if this is a real deal or what. Finally, I want to just thank Englander for looking out for the official police garage, as he does diligently and inappropriately because of his relationship with Eric Rose. Here we have a zoning change in order to accommodate what we're describing as overflow because of all the excellent towing away people who have been smart booted all over the city. So now what we would really like is a parking lot in which some of these folks who are not bad people, some of them are living in their Outlanders, nice car, you know, they just can't find a place to go. So it would be helpful if you could get to that work. We got the new numbers about the 222 homeless folks going inside by just after your next election.
Okay, give him his general public comment, 1 minute.
Sure. The general public comment, I just want to honor the city attorney one more time and request that the Adobe Acrobat suite of PDF services, we have a contract with a group called Public Insight Sector. It used to be called CompuCom. Nonetheless, they provide lots of software packages for everybody here at City Hall. And the idea is that you could provide a digital PDF of something that is searchable. Now, when we asked for some records, you know, they provided a big wad of stuff that weren't searchable, but they were originally digital records. So, you know, Falble points out that the Public Record Act doesn't make him do anything he doesn't want to do. But I say the public is kind of interested in transparency. So, sir, maybe you could weigh in. Maybe you could ask Mike upstairs, Fuhr, to get that going. And maybe we could have a hearing on that with everybody. Hear 60 seconds from all the council members, 60 seconds from members of the public. And let's find out whether or not we feel we should be providing digitally searchable records the way Mr. Alietti likes as a professional clerk in 2018. So I don't know, sir. I'm out of time.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. Let's call on Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh, you have item 1, 2, 22, and 23. Mr. Walsh, and then your general public comment.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. Number one, you do a good job. You do a good job. Is that loud enough for you? On building and safety. I've been here since 1966. Some of you weren't even born in 1966. Mr. Buscaino, get off your knees. And incidentally...
Stay on the topic, Mr. Walsh.
Not his knees. We'll get to that later. 1, 2, 22. 22. Suicide prevention. Information of firearm stores and firing ranges. This city is just full of places to shoot guns and also places to actually go to school. And what this is going to do, and you're not going to talk about it. And if I'm wrong, just say he's full of shit.
We can
Say John Walsh is full of shit. It's going to add to the number of firearm stores and firing ranges. That's number 16. You would think that Mr. Buscaino, who had one of his deputies shot to fucking hell, murdered. that he would give a shit.
Mr. Walsh, why don't we just give you your 1 minute for general public comment? Give him his 1 minute, Mr. Clerk, so he can free will.
You know,
Go ahead,
it's nice
Mr. Walsh.
to go over to the county where the meeting is run by Mark Ridley Thomas, who's not a fucking racist like you are, and tune it in. Everything runs smoothly. It's the same people except Herb Wesson. Why do you hate white people so much? You get down on your knees in front of the mayor, and you're in line with Glenn Dake, and I ask one reporter
Mr. Walsh,
in
talk
America,
about things that the city
You're
council can
interrupting.
do something
He's
about.
interrupting, Mr. City Attorney.
No, you have to stay. You have to talk about things that the city has an influence on.
He's interrupting me, and he's look. One reporter in America to ask the mayor of the city who's running for president, who the fuck is Glenn Dake? And do you suck his cock, and does he suck your cock?
Thank you. All right, Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have items 1, 22, 23, 24, and your general public comment.
You know, being disabled is a very serious situation, but when you're confronted to the nuisance abatement costs and the compliance code violations, I demand an inspection on the Attorney General to investigate Joe Buscaino in CD 12. He's a gentleman that wears his short sleeves to work and is losing his mind.
Stay on the subject, Mr. Herman.
Because of the lien at 12448 North Hensley Place. That's somewhere up there in Mission Hills where they have horses. Also, on item number 2, I believe it's the same gentleman with the short sleeves.
No, you're on item 22. You didn't sign up for 2.
Yeah, let me go back here because there we go. There we are. Due to the communication from the rookie city attorney, I too demand that Mike Fuhr's office sit in here and manage our statements posting the suicide prevention. Because sometimes due to my disability and my major depression and my PTSD, and when some stupid motherfucker goes like this to me, like this.
And we're off topic again.
I'm talking about suicide.
You know what? What we're going to do is give Mr. Herman his 1 minute for general public comment. Mr. Herman, you were warned twice. Stay on topic. Okay, now you have general public comment.
Listen, you white, pasty, stupid fucking schmuck. I'm talking about 42 U.S.C. 1983, suicide prevention. You tell me that I'm disabled and I can't speak a certain way, that you're going to what? Remove me, prevent me, scorn me from coming to meetings? Well, look, every time you see me at every meeting with my Heckle and Jekyll friend, Wayne Spindler, we disrupt nothing. We're engaging in public free speech. We talk about your fat asses, your stupid, dumb ideas, and your fucked up mythology about making HHH a better place for me. I've been homeless since 2008, you stupid schmuck. And what have you done for me with that money? $1.2 billion. Not one motherfucking thing. And so that's why I come here under 42 USA to say gently, fuck you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Antonia, come forward. You have items 22 23 and 24, and then your general public comment. Please stay on subject.
Thank you for the caveat. We're not all entirely stupid or dumb.
Let's just stay on the topic.
Number 21, they choose what to...
No, 22, 23, and 24.
I thought I get to speak on 20.
No, you have 22, 23, and 24.
Well, again, it's lovely to be back. You know, coming here before you, Herb Wesson, everybody who's been here, thrown out, insulted,
you're not on
censored,
topic.
they
You're
would
not-
love to commit suicide.
You are not on topic. You know you're not on topic.
These rooms because they chose to speak freely about public safety and several issues affecting the city, not to mention the countless lawsuits that we've all have to pay out.
And
Thanks
again,
to you. I mean,
we're
you
off
when
topic.
we look
Okay,
at how
you know
much
what,
money we're putting out and paying
Ms.
out.
Ramirez, give her her 1 minute for a general public comment. Mr. Herman, sit down. Okay, you're disrupting this meeting. Go ahead.
Unjust, and you abuse your authority, especially you and Mitchell Englander. You, Herb Wesson, and Mitchell Englander. How dare you? You give people heart attacks just running from the back to the podium. You know, that is unfair. Truly unfair. You've abused us, you've persecuted us, you've tortured us, and you put us on the streets. That's what you've done. Can I at least say that? Yeah, people want to commit suicide. Look at the countless people who are homeless because thanks to your gang stalking techniques, all of you have put people on the streets. We are homeless. No matter where we go, and especially those of us who speak out, open up and tell the world what is going on in here, the nucleus of your circle. We get thrown out. We get persecuted. You send your cronies and your henge people to chase us and attack us out on the streets. Yeah, you want to commit suicide every freaking day when you think, oh God, I got to go to city council and face Herb Wesson and Mitchell Englander, Heil Hitler, the Fourth fucking Reich. You know, I think it's unfair. You're going to take that to your grave. You've censored, you've tortured, and persecuted.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a good day. Have a good day. Now you're disrupting, Ms. Ramirez. Thank you for coming. No, your public comment is over, ma'am. Please take your seat. Thank you. Please take your seat. Madam Clerk, why don't we vote on items 2, 3, 6, and 8? Please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Now we can vote on items 12, 23, and 24. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Is there a request on a forthwith, Mr.?
Forthwith for item 6, sir.
Okay, without objection. And item 24 as well. That do we have someone here last name Rodriguez? Rodriguez, first name begins with an A. No, okay, so then that closes multiple. Miss McAllister, I apologize. Miss McAllister has items 1 and 7. So that's 2 minutes, and then she'll get another minute for general public comment. So go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. For item number 1, I want people to know who are having liens on their homes, they can't afford to pay the liens or fix their houses, that there's money in HHH for them to get assistance. Come to City Hall. Do not go to your community offices of your representatives. Come to City Hall and ask them right here, come up here and speak. And talk to your representative, your council person. Now, for the people who did lose their homes and they're on the street, they're living on the street, we have a problem. Some of them are living in their cars, a lot of them. They have cars. And the city is ticketing their cars and taking their cars and putting them on the street. So we have a problem with that. So what we want them to do is come to City Hall and talk.
Veer back on topic.
I'm talking.
Item 1. Veer back on 1.
Okay, also, item 1, these liens, you're charging them 250%. That's called usury. Jews created that. That's why a lot of people on the street. 250% fines, interest you're charging on these fines. I've asked you over and over again to stop doing that, okay? I am happy to know that one city in California is not sanctuary anymore, and I'm waiting on the troops to come up in here. I really am. We need the federal troops to come into these cities, especially Los Angeles.
Okay, now you got to get back on 7.
Give me my public, give me my...
You haven't spoken on item 7 yet, if you want.
I decided not, I
okay, then
didn't want
let's give her
Right.
her minute for general public comment.
Okay,
Go ahead.
last week, we were in a homeless meeting, and 5 attorneys came in and to talk about why the city is ticketing people, homeless people in their cars and taking their cars. 5 attorneys, you know, it's $500,000. Let me tell you what these attorneys are making. We've got 350 attorneys in this city. Those 5 attorneys, their salaries is about $500,000 each. Now also, the attorney's office, we got all these trust funds. The attorney's office are transferring money from these trust funds to the attorneys. For instance, money for housing. The city attorney's office took $332,000 from the Building and Safety Permit Fund. They took $75,000 from the Sidewalk Repair Fund. All of these trust funds they're using and putting that money into these 550 attorneys. We're going to get these attorneys out of here. I used to work for law firms. I know the game. Most of the attorneys are not doing a darn thing. 550 attorneys with a budget of almost $1 billion. We're going to get you out of here.
Mr. Clerk, we've closed general public comment for all items, including general public comment. Let's go ahead and vote on items number 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 13. Let's go ahead and open the roll. Items 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 13. Okay, let's go ahead and open the roll. Close the roll and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, all those items passed. Let's go ahead and bring up item number 1. Let's open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into our presentation. Mr. Kokoyan, are you ready, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Madam President. And members, I'm wearing my USC tie today because this is a day to recognize the extraordinary contribution that USC has made since the 1880s in advancing science and health and technology in Southern California. USC's long tradition in this area, thank you, Mr. Englander, fight on. USC's long tradition in this area includes establishing the first medical school in Southern California in the 1880s, the first PharmD program and clinical pharmacy program in the United States of America. And since the 1880s, USC has been a real leader in innovation and science, and particularly in the healthcare arena. Right now, USC is continuing to embark on the establishment of a biotech campus and corridor that will create thousands of new jobs, thousands of construction jobs, 4,000 permanent new jobs, but even more important, it will establish Los Angeles as a national leader in these 21st century industries of biotechnology, bioengineering, and other related healthcare areas. You know, for every job, every high-tech job that's created with this kind of a campus, 4 more are added to our local economy in areas like marketing, accounting, administration, and sales, and so forth. So USC is continuing to press forward in being one of the main foundations of our local economy through its investment in this infrastructure in this campus. But more important than that, USC is investing in the human capital of Los Angeles, in the young people of Los Angeles, and that's really what I'm here to talk about today. I'm proud to recognize USC's Science, Technology, and Research Program and Engineering for Health Academy, and one of its many exceptional students and a resident of my district in North Hollywood, Samiha Maheen. For nearly 30 years, the USC STAR program has shown talented high school students that the sky really is the limit. There is no limitation for our bright young people who look forward and have a vision of a career in the STEM fields. A collaborative science education initiative between the University of Southern California and Francisco Bravo Medical Magnet High School, the program was founded by Dr. Roberta Diaz-Brinton in 1989 to give high school juniors and seniors, regardless of gender, ethnicity, or socioeconomic background, the opportunity to pursue science and to establish themselves in these incredible careers that will be available to the young people of the 21st century. The program is located at the USC Health Science Campus in Northeast Los Angeles in Council District 14. And Councilmember Huizar would like to have been here today to send his congratulations as well for this excellent program. Under the leadership of Dr. Daryl Davis and Dr. Joe Kokoza, the program has continued to have a great impact on young scientists' futures. Not only are Dr. Davies and Dr. Kokoza working with Bravo High to increase the number of students reached by STAR, but they also plan to expand its model to other high schools near USC as well. Over the last 3 decades, the STAR program has helped more than 600 high school students achieve their math and science potential through the program's well-crafted curriculum geared to expose young scholars to the world of scientific research alongside the university's top faculty members. Listen to this. 100% of the USC STAR EHA program graduates are college-bound. 100%. 98% of the program students have gone on to study at the nation's very top universities, including MIT, USC, of course, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Princeton, Caltech, Columbia, and maybe even a few to UCLA, I'm not sure, where they will pursue careers in life sciences, biomedical engineering, and biotechnology. 92% of STAR graduates are minority students, and 55% of the program students are young women. So this is a program that really is transforming the future, it's building the future for everyone in Los Angeles, and I'm so proud that it's at USC and that USC is playing such an important part in that. I'm going to introduce you to one of the extraordinary participants in this program, Samiha Maheen, but before I do that, I think we have a little video to show you about her.
Samiha Maheen is a teenage scientist focused on finding a better solution in helping premature babies survive.
Motivated me even more when my baby brother Nibir was born. He had a lot of problems with him because he had a premature stomach.
The senior at Francisco Bravo Medical Magnet High School now suits up daily at the USC School of Pharmacy as part of the STAR program.
We just had to reach the other cells right now.
Which gives aspiring scientists the opportunity to join research teams and conduct experiments under the guidance of USC professors.
She's a very motivated student. She's here all the time. When she's not in class, she comes to the lab.
Samiha commutes 20 miles each day for school and has received awards for her science projects. Her true passion is in developing an artificial womb for premature babies.
They have premature lungs and premature organs, and they're kind of forced to live outside when they're not really ready. So the artificial womb would kind of create this environment for them to kind of fully develop and fully mature.
It's something Children's Hospital Philadelphia has been working on, and that's where this cool kid is hoping to intern next, while getting her degree in bioengineering or biology.
Introducing the prime rib cheesesteak from Jack in the Box.
Members, since her junior year, Samiha has studied under the tutelage of Dr. Martin Kulti, who's here with us today, the Associate Professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Pharmaceutical Sciences for USC School of Pharmacy. We also have with us today Dr. Davies and Dr. Kokoza. But I want to tell you just a little bit more about Samiha first. Every day, Samiha travels more than 22 miles from her home in North Hollywood to Bravo, and then she walks to the USC campus after fourth period to continue her work in the research lab. She normally gets up at 6 in the morning, and she doesn't get back to sleep after a long day on the road, in classes, in the lab, studying, doing homework, until around midnight. Samiha has been studying human reproduction and the chemical effects on reproductive organs. And for 3 years in high school, she served as the lead researcher on the development of an extrauterine device, or artificial womb, that allows normal development in optimal conditions for premature babies, combating high mortality and morbidity rates, which, of course, is my old job. She was recognized as a semifinalist for the Outstanding Young Scientist Award. I mean, this was in high school, members. She was doing this. She was recognized as a semifinalist for the Outstanding Young Scientist Award for her research by the California Association of Professional Scientists. This year, she has one of the 13 projects from the Bravo USC Science and Engineering Fair that were selected to advance to the Los Angeles County Science Fair to be held at the Pasadena Convention Center next week. And Samiha is just an extraordinary example of the program's success and the value and opportunities that it provides to young students. So as her admissions letters come rolling in, Samiha will soon find out where she'll be headed to college to pursue her degree in bioengineering or biology. So before I bring up Samiha to introduce you to her, I'd like to invite Dr. Davies to say a few words as well, if you'd like to talk a little bit about the program. Dr. Davies.
Thank you, Councilman Krikorian. This is Samiha's day for sure, but she wants to get out of here because guess what? She has more experiments to do to get ready for the county fair. This student is fantastic. She's remarkable, but she's also really a prototypic example of the students that are in the STAR EHA program. Now, this program has been a success. I've been involved with it as a graduate student back in 1992, as a graduate of USC School of Pharmacy. I've been participating as a scientist, as a professor, and now the director of the program. It just continues to amaze me. These are high school students doing real-life science. The small amount of funds used to support this program are all through Good Neighbors Campaign, which is a USC-contributed employees of USC that donate to the program. It's just a fantastic example of a partnership between an LA Unified Medical Magnet School, Bravo, and USC partnership. The results, it's easy to sell, and Councilman Krikorian already explained, this is something that is easy to be proud of. It's got a long history and something we should be proud of as Angelenos. This is, again, an example of diversity at its finest. Thank you, and our guest of honor really is the one that we should be honoring right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Davies. And members, I hope you'll join me in welcoming Samiha Mahin.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. I never imagined that a homemade science fair project with humble beginnings in my garage would have resulted in the recognition of so many, and for that I'm truly thankful. I have to admit, though, this moment is bittersweet. I started my research on creating an artificial womb because I thought it was a creative science fair project, and I saw the need for it when I heard of the numerous complications dealing with pregnancy. I used plastic bottles as fish tanks and large milk cartons to store and mix solutions. Eventually, household items transformed into functional laboratory equipment such as life-sustaining incubators and spectrophotomic quantifiers. While excited by the opportunity to work alongside innovative researchers in a world-renowned facility at USC, I began seeing the relevance of my experience when my mom had her first miscarriage. She was absolutely heartbroken and didn't leave her bed for days. Sometime later, she would physically recover and eventually give birth to my 1-year-old brother, Shabit. But just when our lives began to return to normal, my pregnant stepmother was diagnosed with preeclampsia. She was kept in the hospital for months to monitor the blood pressure as well as the health for my baby brother. 2 months later, my baby brother Nibir was born. Although he was premature, he was a fighter, and I decided to fight for him. This is when I began seeing the dire need of an artificial womb. 7 months after he was born, he died on February 23rd of this year. Now I stand in this moment inspired by my baby brother as well as the millions of women who suffer from fertility issues on a daily basis. I always knew that I loved to do research, and I now believe that is my destiny. I am grateful that the STAR program has been able to assist me, as cliche as this may sound, but live my dreams. I don't think I would have been able to intern at such an amazing lab with kind, brilliant, and humble colleagues if it were not for their beliefs in my abilities and contributions. More importantly, I'm inspired by people such as my reporter, Marianne Love from the Daily News for telling my story so beautifully, my STAR coordinator, Ms. Dela Cruz, for always supporting me, the STAR program director, Daryl Davies, the EHA program director, Dr. Joseph Kokoza, my PI, Dr. Colty, my colleague, Vanessa, my mentor and family friend, Ms. Mitchell. I'd also like to thank Mr. Krikorian for honoring the STAR program in me. You have all instilled me a sense of confidence in my potential and the understanding that women deserve opportunities within STEM-related fields and the possibility of breaking down barriers to imagine the impossible. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, thank you, Samiha, for your work. Thank you for inspiring all of us. Thank you for inspiring so many young people. And thank you for the path that you're embarking upon. I know that your brother will live on through the work that you do for so many others. So congratulations.
Mr. Krikorian, just a second. We have a member on the queue, Mr. Rue.
Thank you, Madam President. And I proudly and excitedly stand up today. And thank you, Councilman Krikorian, for bringing this to our attention. And I don't think Dr. Kokoza remembers me, but I proudly stand because Francisco Bravo Medical Magnet is my high school. Oh. And I am one of the first STAR students and graduates. And I remember I took 2 courses with Dr. Kokoza. That was physiology as well as ophthalmic technology, where I went to Doheny Eye Institute, and I also, it was a dual immersion program. And like Samia, and thank you very much for all your achievements and all that you are going to achieve. I did work at the pathology department at USC under Professor Skolnick, and I worked in that lab for 2 years. We didn't have a football team, we didn't have a lot of other things, but we did have all the science and math that anyone could dream of. And that's where I got my first laboratory experience. That's where I learned about ophthalmic technology. USC and Francisco Bravo did such a great job that I even went to UCLA as a biology major. But I really thank you for bringing this in. It's a real treat to see Dr. Kokoza. I couldn't recognize him at first, but when you said Dr. Kokoza, you can't forget that name. So I am very excited to stand and congratulate all the students, for Samia and all the students at Francisco Bravo in the STAR program. I thank USC for their tremendous efforts, and I really thank Francisco Bravo, which, by the way, is the first high school to be named after a Latino, and also the first principal, Dr. Oh my gosh, I just saw her the other day. Dr. Hernandez, who was the first female Latina principal as well. So this school is a historical first of many. And I remember at the ribbon cutting ceremony, there was actually Gloria Molina and Mike Antonovich came. And I think they were, I don't know if they were supervisors back then, but I think Gloria Molina might have been an assembly member. But it's a historical first. Never did I think I would be here. I thought I would join the ranks of a doctor, but thank you so much for everything you do. And thank you, Councilman Krikorian, for bringing this forward.
And we're so proud of Mr. Rue. Aren't we all proud of Mr. Rue? You turned out great.
Yeah, and thank you, Mr. Rue. I had no idea, or else I certainly would have made reference to that. I hope that Samiha won't make the same tragic mistake of choices of colleges, but we consider you an honorary Trojan now, Mr. Rue. So thank you very much. And so I'd like to congratulate Samiha and present her with this certificate of recognition signed by all of the members of the council, first of all, as well as present this resolution to the USC STAR EHA program as well. So congratulations and thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go on in the back.
Mr. Caress, whenever you're ready for your presentation, sir.
Well, thank you, Madam President and colleagues. I couldn't be more proud to host this extraordinarily important presentation this morning. I don't think any of us here haven't deeply contemplated the Parkland school terror and really struggled with the state of our world and the idea that politics has so much negative influence over public safety and the safety of children and of all innocent bystanders. Just this week, a gunman terrorized a school in Maryland just a month after Parkland, making it the 20th case of school shootings in 2018. There are so many acts of gun violence that we don't even pay attention to all of them anymore. I think school shootings bring home something that over my career I never imagined getting this much worse. I've prioritized gun control measures for over 40 years. I first got involved in 1973 when a good friend of mine, Marv Healthcott, who was the local pharmacist, was held up at gunpoint 3 times in 3 weeks and said, we've got to do something about this. And so he organized a statewide initiative drive. It got a couple 100,000 signatures, didn't succeed, but it really started the California handgun control movement. And when I first got elected to the not the LA City Council, to the West Hollywood City Council in the late 80s, I authored a measure which would be desperately needed now nationwide, which was a ban on assault weapons in the city of West Hollywood. We were the first city without a massacre to recognize that assault weapons weren't necessary to be in circulation for any purpose and should be banned. But it was difficult without real organizational support. And so the next time we did something significant in West Hollywood, Abby Land and I authored a ban on Saturday night special handguns. And that time we were able to do it with the support of a group called Women Against Gun Violence, who not only gave us the legislative support to not only propose the measure, but to have the backbone to fight the NRA and spend over $1 million fighting it up the legal chain. But they also gave us the idea in the first place. And I think that made a significant difference across the state, where many cities joined us and eventually state legislation was passed. Women Against Gun Violence, through its partnerships with lawmakers and policymakers, has been part of significant legislative milestones. Ranging from that Saturday night special ban to the more recent laws against loaded, unsecured weapons in the presence of children, remaining front and center in the movement to keep kids, families, and communities healthy and safe. Women Against Gun Violence has built innovative programs to help survivors to share their stories, parents to protect their children from unlocked guns, and the youth to not only understand and avoid gun violence, but also help them reach their friends. Women Against Gun Violence's Speakers Bureau gives both adults and youth who have lost a loved one to gun violence or survived a gunshot wound themselves a platform to share their stories, to educate and support others, and encourage advocacy for sensible firearms legislation at the local, regional, and state level. They've hosted educational series, including the Firearms/Suicide Summit and the upcoming Firearm Domestic Violence Summit to inform and share opportunities for innovation. And in particular, suicide is a significant cause of death in the United States, the second leading cause of death for persons between the ages of 15 and 34. Suicidal individuals would often benefit from talking with a mental health professional or simply calling a suicide prevention hotline. However, many individuals who are suicidal do not know that resources are available that can help them make the decision not to end their lives. Firearms play a significant role in suicide in the United States, with suicides making up 2/3 of all gun-related deaths in the country. While firearms are not the most common method used by those attempting suicide, it is the most lethal, with 85% of suicide attempts using firearms resulting in death. Every day, an average of 49 suicides are committed by individuals utilizing firearms, and it's the leading cause of death among Californians who have purchased a firearm within a year. While California has stringent background check requirements on gun purchases, lawful firearm vendors utilizing these standards can still miss the sign that someone is suicidal. In an effort to address this, and in an attempt to publicize suicide prevention information, the city should require that gun stores and firing ranges display suicide prevention posters and literature in a conspicuous location inside their business, much like other required signage. This type of signage and suicide prevention literature would make no statements on firearm ownership or even touch on gun control, but would make sure that people that are contemplating suicide and contemplating ending their lives know they can always talk to someone. So that's why today I have on the agenda a request that the City Attorney's Office prepare and present an ordinance that would require all gun stores and firing ranges to display posters and literature with suicide prevention information, including a suicide prevention hotline number in a conspicuous place inside their business. And when that comes up, I ask you all for an aye vote. Now it's my pleasure to invite from Women Against Gun Violence, Ann Rice Lane and Lori Safian to say a few words.
Excuse me. Thank you very much, Paul. It's been a pleasure to work with you for all those years. As you recalled, we came to your city council in West Hollywood to support the ban on junk guns, and ever since we've worked together. I started Women Against Gun Violence 25 years ago. It feels like a big part of my life. I served for 20 years before that as a commissioner for the library, fire, and police departments, and there you go. That's what I've been doing with my life all these years. But the most significant to me has been working with Women Against Gun Violence. We began because feminist Betty Friedan called me and said, they're campaigning to sell guns to women. We have to do something about that. And she was right. So we started here in Los Angeles with an organization, and mostly we tried to contact victims of gun violence to help us spread the word. The first speaker we had spoke about her 2 sons, each of whom was killed in a different drive-by program action. It's hard to beat that story for making people aware of gun violence. We've organized around giving victims a voice. We've organized around mobilizing women, excuse me, and we've always worked with the city council. 25 years ago, Mike Feuer, now the city attorney, was a member of the city council, and Mike, and mostly Mike, but the rest of the city council helped us develop a series of ordinances that were unusual and quite extraordinary, because 25 years ago there was a state assumption that they alone had the authority to control guns, and we were out to prove that local communities could provide their own ordinances to prevent gun violence. And so we worked with ATF, FBI, everybody we could find to bring all government into this program. And from that, from passing local ordinances, we went to counties, we went to other cities around us, and gradually the trickle-up theory worked, and the state of California began to legislate on guns. And it's been an extraordinary 25 years, always with the help of the Los Angeles City Council. So for that, I would like to thank you, particularly Paul Krikorian, who was on our advisory board, and Paul Koretz, who really inspired me in the first place. And now I'd like to introduce the chair of our board, Lori Safian.
Right here. Thank you, Councilmember Koretz, for this wonderful recognition of our 25 years of work. And I think it's also an important recognition of an extraordinary woman who started this organization and 25 years later continues to lead and inspire the work we do and marches with us and is out on the streets and is mobilizing. And I think that is quite extraordinary, Ann. You are truly an inspiration. I just want to echo Ann's gratitude to this City Council for your leadership and for your visionary work toward gun violence prevention that truly has set the standard for this nation. As Los Angeles goes, so goes California, and someday so goes this nation. I hope you will all join us on Saturday at the March for Our Lives. Women Against Gun Violence will be convening at 8:30 in the morning at Casey's Irish Pub on Grand, and as we participate in this extraordinary student-led movement, this march that they are leading. And we'll save a t-shirt for you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Koretz, Mr. Wu would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Madam President. Lori, thank you for those words. And Ann, you've been an inspiration and leader in this field. And of course, to all the Women Against Gun Violence, thank you so much for everything that you do. And thank you, Councilman Koretz, for spearheading this effort. And I couldn't have been more proud to lend my support to this. And, you know, for too long, as it was all mentioned, we have too many numbered gun violence crises in our country. And for too many Americans, gun violence is a breaking news bulletin, an all too common headline. And this country was awoken by the voices of a new generation calling for solutions where our leaders have failed. These young people are an inspiration, a hope, and a safer future. But as we speak and as we march and as we try to stem the tide of gun violence in our communities, we can't forget about the gun violence that doesn't make the headlines. The guns in our inner cities and the daily violence that comes with that. And of course, moreover, 2/3 of all gun deaths that are suicides. 50 Americans take their life with a gun every day, and we often feel that there's only so much we could do on this issue. But today's ordinance, requiring suicide prevention notices in every firing range in the city of Los Angeles, is something that we can do. So I am heartened to have this ordinance on the books, and I hope to further discussion furthermore. Thank you.
Mr. Wu, Mr. Krikorian.
Thank you, Madam President. And to all the members of Women Against Gun Violence, happy anniversary. It's been a very, very important 25 years, and I'm proud to have been able to serve on your board of advisors for the entirety of that 25 years since the founding. And I think another person we should mention and recognize is former council member Jackie Goldberg, who was instrumental at the time of the founding and also a driving force for gun policy legislation in this council and then later in the state at a time when it was kind of groundbreaking to do those things. And so Jackie played an enormous role, as did Mike, and as did so many other members who've sat around this horseshoe who have made Los Angeles really the nation's leader. And you're certainly right, Lori, that things that happen in Los Angeles often spread throughout America. And we've seen that with whether it was the assault weapons ban that we initiated in Los Angeles, then became state law, and then became national policy, whether it was the ban on junk guns, which became state policy, and so many other things that started here have been copied by our state legislature, and we're glad to have them copying us. That's great. The large capacity magazine ban, the safe storage ban, these other safe storage law, these other things that we've been doing recently that Sacramento is following our lead on as well. So it's not enough to do what we do here in Los Angeles. It has to become a national consensus that is actually effective. And what Women Against Gun Violence has done in making that national consensus, building it, and making it so effective is to speak from a place of authority and credibility that very few others can do. Because when a family member stands up and talks about the actual personal impact of gun violence on their loved one, on their family, on their friends, this becomes much more than a simple policy debate with pros and cons. This becomes a human mandate. And so all of you have helped to make that happen in this chamber, in Sacramento, in council chambers throughout California and elsewhere. You've been on the scene every time we have one of these nationally recognized mass shootings. You've been there. You've been there with the victims, helping the victims and helping the policy-making aftermath of those things. And so the role that Women Against Gun Violence has played in the last 25 years of changing this nation's discussion about guns has been irreplaceable. And for that, I thank you, but for that, I think all of America should be grateful. Because what we see now in the movement with students is essentially they're receiving, those students are receiving the baton from the work that you've done, and we hope to help them carry it on, hopefully to even greater achievements. So thank you all very much for what you're doing, what you have done, what you'll continue to do.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. Back to you, Mr. Koretz.
Thank you again, Madam President. The Los Angeles City Council offers its congratulations on the 25th anniversary of Women Against Gun Violence, and we applaud your accomplishments and incredible great work that you do and continue to do to keep Los Angeles and beyond safe. And so, on behalf of a grateful city of Los Angeles, I'd like to present a proclamation celebrating your 25 years.
Members, we have a very special group of young women that are here this morning. I'd like us to welcome the Girls Leadership Academy. Ladies, can you please stand? It's the Girls Leadership Academy from LAUSD STEM Magnet for girls. They just completed an after-school program sponsored by HNTB, and they're all going to hopefully become future engineers. So let's give them another big round of applause. Thank you, ladies, for being here. We have item number 22. We have a couple of speaker cards on this item. Lauren Libb, are you here on item 22? Is anybody here? Lauren Libb. Holly Dexter. Holly Dexter on item 22. Margaret Bennett. Yeah, those folks are not in the audience, so we're going to go ahead and take up item 22. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, that item passes. Let's go ahead and take up item 21.
And Madam President, an amending motion for item 21 has been posted and circulated.
There is an amending motion attached to this item. Mr. Previn, did you wish to speak on item 21, sir?
Thank you, Councilmember Martinez. The amending motion, an A motion, was evidently cooked up last minute, and it's effectively they want to add and deploy 669,000 in this particular. It's an amendment to what happened up in Energy, Climate, and Environment Committee, and this is for clean streets related costs. And the part that caught my attention was the blend, because what we have is 100,000 in regular salary, we've got almost 300,000 in salaries for OT, and then here's the interesting part: contract services for 267,000. So, and a very small amount for supplies. So I don't know, because there's no other information available, if that's a significant increase or if it's just a little topping off and arranging per Blumenfield. But we appreciate it, and we just like it when you give us a little more notice so we can do the homework. But thank you for taking the comment, and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Previn. There are no more speakers on item 21. Let's go ahead and vote on that item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, and tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Okay, that item passes. We have a couple of general public comment cards. Mina Jones, are you here? Miss Mina Jones? Anybody with that name? Ruth Summers? Come on forward, ma'am. Followed by Reval Tweedle.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Ruth Summers Tweedle, and Chaplain Ruth Summers Tweedle, and we have brought some information that relates to the gun violence and also racial profiling. And we would like to make certain, hi Karen, we would like to make certain that persons know particularly about the fact that at present, Mr. Trump is attempting to have a gentleman, a corporate bully named Stephen A. Feinberg, who is co-founder and CEO of Cerberus Capital Management, which is the parent company of Albertsons grocery chain, second largest grocer, and assault weapons and ammunition industry leader, Remington Outdoor Company, which also they bought up Bushmaster, and he is attempting to have this person to be over the U.S. intelligence agencies to stop leaks and whistleblowers. And this same man in his...
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Tweedle, that concludes your general public comment. You only get a minute to speak.
Oh, okay. Well, may I give you guys the information? Because that's
you
what I
can
brought it
definitely hand it to the sergeant. He'll hand it to us.
Okay, I want to
Thank you for coming in. Revel Tweedle, are you here? Yeah. Okay. So you have 1 minute to speak on general public comments. Sir.
Okay, how you doing? Hi, everybody. I just wanted to tell you I'm not going back to Chicago. So we need to have some basketball, bowling. My wife got elected as educational chair for District South Central. So I got to be senior correspondent secretary. So we need to have some bowling, some basketball, some athletics, so we can make sure the students from Chicago and New York come to our city and get squared away. So I propose that to the city council. May God bless America. Yeah, I'm still Lieutenant Tweed.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.
All right.
The next speaker is Ms. Brown. Anyone here in the name of Ms. Brown? Next person is Jacqueline Richardson. Jacqueline Richardson, are you here, Ms. Richardson? You're in the back. Come on forward, ma'am. Good morning, Ms. Richardson. How are you? Good.
Why is everyone so concerned and want to be so much like white people? White people, they're valued. Why are they so valued? Well, historically, it's a reason that we all admire. Why are they so valued? The main reason, number one, is that they tell the truth, upside down, backwards, always telling the truth. Are they doing that now? They're silent. Historically, they've told so much truth that everywhere they go, they're wanted there because they told the truth. They were so valued back in the 50s and 60s that jewelry stores had diamond rings and gold coins and bracelets in the windows everywhere that can be verified. Every day, go home, turn off the lights, and the diamond rings and gold rings were still in the window. They were that highly valued. Are they telling the truth now? They're silent.
Thank you, Ms. Richardson. The last speaker is Solve Love. Welcome. Good morning. You have 1 minute of general public comment.
Okay. Thank you. I'm Sylvie Love. I'm a sovereign people standing on the ground. I've been, I have some, last March when I had a 32-foot unit taken away from me, a mobile sanctuary, in order to avoid the pain and being exposed to what other people are going through, the same thing, having no living dwelling. I invested my time practically 24 hours a day in cleaning up the Westlake area at the intersection of Wilshire and Alvarado Boulevard. It's like a transformation that you need to just go and see. The public there can now use the area and basically not feel threatened by the drugs and the homeless people, incidentally, and gangs and stuff like that. But my reward now is constant badgering by a particular officer, Officer Garcia.
Thank you, ma'am. That concludes your time. Thank you for coming
very
in.
much.
Mr. Clerk, that concludes general public comment cards. What else is left?
Madam President,
on our
Council
agenda?
has motions for posting and referral.
Posted and referred members, are there any announcements? Mr. Buscaino, do you have an announcement? Mr. Harris Dawson? Let's all rise for adjourning motions. The members of the public, please rise for adjourning motions, please. Are there any adjourning motions to my right? Any adjourning motions to my left? Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, Madam President. A dear friend of this council, Cleveland Councilmember Matt Zone's sister passed away, colleagues, and I'd like to ask that we adjourn in the memory of Mary Elizabeth Beth Zone, sister of the immediate past president of National League of Cities and Cleveland Councilmember Matt Zone. Beth Zone passed away at the age of 70 on March 14th, and she was the beloved mother of Michael Carr and Mark Carr, and sister to an amazing family in Cleveland, sister to Michael, Peggy, Mark, Marty, Madeline, Matt, and Melissa. She will dearly be missed by her friends and family. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Zone family. May she rest in peace. And the council president, who has a great relationship with Matt Zone, also would like to be included in this adjourning motion
Very
in
well.
honor
We'll
of
include
Beth
Mr.
Zone. Thank
Wesson.
you.
Thank you. Any other adjourning motions? Mr. Harris Dawson?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'd ask today that the council adjourn in the memory of Santos Hilario Garcia and Marcelena Garcia Perfecto, who passed away on March 13th after a high-speed chase involving ICE agents in the Central Valley. Two farm workers, parents of 6 children, dropped off their children at school, and because they matched the identity of some folks that the ICE agents were after, the ICE agents gave chase. The chase resulted in a crash where both parents lost their lives. The 18-year-old daughter will take custody of her 5 brothers and sisters, and the farm worker community and the UFW is surrounding them to help them make it through this difficult time and hopefully rear their children. But we ask that we remember their lives so that we never forget that the situation we're in now is indeed life and death. and it is not at all a game to be played and not merely a cable news discussion, that it impacts the lives of everyday people, the people that indeed pick the food that we'll all go and eat at lunchtime and dinner time and for the weeks to come.
Thank you, Mr. Harris-Dawson. I read that article, and it was truly, truly tragic. Thank you for doing that. Anyone else have any adjourning motions? Seeing none, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.